All right, thanks Paul and Lindsay for taking the time to do this with me today. I'm really grateful to have you guys on the conversation with me. So for anybody watching this video, if you guys could just share a little bit about your family and what your operation looks like.
All right. We have about 55 cow-calf pairs. Bought the family farm that I grew up on 6 years ago, and took over my brother's construction company 2 years ago, and trying to build that into a cash flowing business.
Yeah. Okay. So you have something additional to the farm operation that you run.
Yep.
Well, where do you guys live at?
Northeastern Iowa.
Just for the viewer. And then how many kids you guys have, Lindsay?
We have 4 kids. We have a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 6-month-old.
Okay.
So very busy at home.
Life is busy nonetheless. And trying to run the businesses and balance all the chaos with it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so first question, guys. And like I said, as you guys both want to share, or one of you goes, whatever it is, what was not working in life and business prior to joining our network and joining Legacy Farmer?
A lot of things. The communication, lack of direction of where we were going in the farm, in the business.
Yeah, for me, not growing up in the agriculture community, trying to understand how farming actually worked and looking at the books and realizing none of this is adding up, and just assuming I was the one with the problem and that I didn't understand farming, and then being able to hear your podcasts and stuff and like, oh, this is a problem. So that was a huge thing for us. It's just like, this isn't making sense. How does this work?
Yeah.
But,
did you guys feel like you weren't getting where you wanted to be financially and just didn't know how to get there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul, how do you feel like that impacted you, on a day-to-day basis, like mentally, right? You're out running the business. Lindsay's at home dealing with the chaos of all the kids. You're trying to be a provider for the family and handle all the stress and challenges that come with both of you in that. Paul, how was that impacting you back in that time?
It's just, you're running around doing a bunch of things and not getting anything accomplished. Nothing. Not getting the family time you want, not making the money you want, just not feeling like you're gaining any ground.
And as a man with a family and young children at home, how did it feel going through that and not feeling, because I say this to people all the time, as a man, the hardest thing is when you feel like you're not providing for your family at the level that you could.
Yeah.
So how did you feel going through that?
Just kind of lost of what do I want, and am I getting anywhere? Just because you're moving doesn't mean you're going anywhere. And that's just kind of how I felt.
Lindsay, could you sense like the stress from Paul as he was going? Okay.
Yes, very much so.
He'd
come home just looking like he was beat up all day. It's like, what are we doing? Like, you're not home and you're just beating yourself up, and we make the same amount of money no matter what you do. So how does this make sense? But
well, because what a lot of guys will do, they have a bunch of ideas, right? It's always like the next thing, and go out and you grind and you work your ass off, and it's like, then here's the end result, and it's nothing, or it's the same as what we got last year.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, okay. So next question then for you guys is what changed once you joined Legacy Farmer? And Paul, I'll have you go first there. What's the biggest change for you?
A lot of it getting focused. I mean, prior to joining Legacy Farmer, it was like, I wanted to have a business. What do I want to build? And it's like owning the construction company and knowing that that's my cash flow, and, just learning advertising and structuring that. So just going for that, and the programs of just learning how to move forward in those things and the accountability has been just great.
Good. Lindsey, how about you? What was the biggest thing that's changed for you, or that you've noticed for you and Paul since joining Legacy Farmer?
Yeah, I think I've wasted a lot of time just trying to figure out how everything works and how to try to run a small business and how the farming works. And so being able to learn from your experience of being in the banking industry and just with the agriculture side of things, like I could read Dave Ramsey's book and teach me about financing, but there's something to it that's missing because the agriculture side of things. So wasted a lot of time trying to just figure it out. And it's just, your programs have helped structure that of like, okay, this is the step you need to take. Now you need to learn this. Now you need to learn this. So
have you felt like you're able to start wrapping your head around like your business and life and where the compartments, everything are in, and actually like being able just to wrap your head around this monster that's in front of you?
Yes, very much so.
Paul, how about for you?
Yeah, I mean, going back to my first hot seat of, I thought my issue was something that it wasn't. And it's just like seeing the orders in your charts. It's just like, oh my goodness. And now it's like, you just keep looking at that and it's like, you need to work on marketing and advertising. And it's just like, I can't move on until I have that mastered, and I'm a ways from that. But
one of my mentors said to me one time, he goes, Jace, the hardest problem, or the hardest thing about solving a problem is first defining the problem. So true. Because we wander around and we're just not clear on anything. We're confused and we're stressed out, and the emotions of raising a family, building a business, trying to keep a marriage on point, it's overwhelming. Okay. So guys, out of everything that we do here, and Lindsey, I'll ask for your first thing here as we go through this, but out of everything that we do inside of Legacy Farm, we've got training program, coaching calls, the accountability, the tools and the systems and everything that we provide there. Lindsey, what's your favorite thing about Legacy Farmer and what we do?
The community is just so nice, knowing that there's other people that are thinking and trying to build the same thing that we're trying to build, and just the priorities being straight of like family is really important. It's not just about building something and having those priorities. It's awesome and it's encouraging.
Do you feel like it's been beneficial being able to listen into other people's challenges and situations and things like that they're going through?
Very much so.
Does listening to those things help give you clarity on what different moves and things you guys need to make?
Yeah.
Good. All right, Paul, same question to you. Out of everything we do, what's your favorite thing?
I love the coaching calls is probably my favorite. And the accountability is great with that. Like knowing that if I was doing this on my own, I probably would get disappointed and stop. And it's like that encouragement of we're joining this and the commitment we've made to it of just moving forward has been great.
Were you surprised at how direct the coaching calls were when you first got on?
I don't think I had a lot of expectations for that. Like I just didn't know what it was going to be like.
Do you think the conversations we're having there are being had anywhere else inside of the ag industry?
No.
Not even a chance. And that's really what I was asking is like the stuff that we talk about there, how deep and dark and deep some of it goes. Yeah, there's no way. But at the same time, this stuff has to be talked about. Mm-hmm. So, all right, guys, last question for you both is, I've been building Legacy Farmer for a long time now. It's very difficult to establish trust in this industry. Very difficult to when I was growing up, if somebody random was driving down the road, like we were looking for the shotgun, right? If you didn't recognize the vehicle. So it's very difficult to establish trust in this industry and with farmers and ranchers, just be ag entrepreneurs is what I'll call them. What is the one thing, Lindsey, that you would say to somebody that's sitting on the fence? And maybe this is another woman that's similar situation as you, has the kids, trying to manage everything, support the husband in the business and figure out the finances of the business. Like, what is one thing that you would say to somebody sitting on the fence?
Well, our story, we kind of were sitting on the fence for a whole year. So our final jump on the other side was, well, if we don't do this, what are we going to do? Like, we're just stuck. Like, we don't even know which way we're going to go. So it's like, go for it if you want to change and you see problems that this will solve. Like, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys sat on the fence for a year. Do you wish you would have jumped in sooner after you got in and started utilizing everything?
I guess like after our initial call with you back in February 2019, it was like, I remember talking with Lindsey, and that wasn't even about Academy at that point.
Yeah. And I was like, this guy's a scam. Like, no, we're not doing that.
And just, she made the comment, well, if Jace can learn it, so can we. And, you know, I don't know that I had even heard of your podcast before that conversation. And it's like, found your podcast, which was the first podcast I ever listened to in my life. And listened to all of them at that point. I think I joined, there was like 20 of them, and I kept going, long time. And you mentioned Jim Rohn, and you mentioned, you know, the content that you pay for being way more valuable. And I tried other podcasts and they sucked. Like, I just kept, anytime you had a new one, listening to it. And then I bought one of Jim Rohn's. Well, no, I got a podcast that it was clips of it and stuff. And I bought some of the books that he mentioned in Jim Rohn's book, and Richest Man in Babylon and a couple other ones. And it was just like, oh, the value I got out of those books. But I kept coming to dead ends of like, nobody's encouraging me. I tell other people to read these books. They don't care. And it's like, I need that accountability. And I think after, you know, I read 40 books that year, and it was like, I still need the accountability. And that was kind of what made the jump into Legacy Farmer.
Well, not just the accountability, but like, you know, Lindsey, you going through and implementing all the business systems for you guys. Like, I need tactics. I need strategy. Like, motivation gets you so far. I need to know step by step what to do here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay, perfect, guys. Well, I appreciate you both taking the time to do this with me today. And thanks again.
No problem.
Thank you.